Okay, so 11.9b, so you get 1 point for expansion, 1 for indefinite shape and volume. If they just say indefinite shape, that's a half. If they say indefinite volume, that's a half. If they say indefinite shape and volume, that's a whole. Compressibility is the third one, low density is the fourth one, mixing is the fifth one. Question about those base 5 so far. Expansion needs the word fill. If you don't have the word fill, you didn't score on that. But we need a phrase beyond fill, something like fills all the space in which it's placed. Indefinite shape and volume needs the word fit. Without the word fit, you didn't score there. Something like fits in any vessel, fits in any container, fits blah blah blah, something about fits. Compressibility, you need to mention large volumes and something about pressurized. Large volume can fit in a pressurized tank. Large volume can fit in a pressurized container. And there's certain words I'd wiggle on, but large volume is not a wiggle word, nor is pressurized. Low density, you need to mention grams per liter, and that's in contrast with grams per milliliter for solids and liquids. So if they just mention grams per liter, that's like a half point kind of answer. If they ran in contrast by mentioning grams per milliliter and solids liquids, then that's a full point. If they didn't mention solid liquids at all, they're out at least like half a point. Something about that top 9. 10, heat and motion are related. All particles of matter are in motion to some degree. And then the third one is, I say it as heat is an indication of that motion. But in some other way, if you're saying that motion is causing heat to be noticed, that can be okay too, as long as you capture the idea. Heat is what you notice. Motion is what caused that to happen. If you have something in that vein, we're good. Thanks to 12. 13, gas is composed of molecules is 1. There's no attractive forces of molecules, that's 2. Constant rapid motion of molecules is 3. Perfectly elastic collisions of molecules, there's 4. And average kinetic energy is proportional to Kelvin temperature. Average kinetic energy is proportional to Kelvin temperature. If they shorted some of molecules, of molecules, of molecules, on the test I'll go half every time. On this I'll cap that at a single point. But we have molecules in all of them except the average kinetic energy Kelvin temperature thing. So some halves, but not to exceed 1 total point over molecule dimensions. The gas composed of molecules, original one is that most volume is empty space. The collisions one is that no kinetic energy got lost. And think through those zones.
Can you repeat the most gas in molecules?
Gas is composed of molecules.
Yeah.
Most of the volume is empty space.
Okay.
Can you repeat them again?
Yeah, gas is made of molecules. Follow that up with most of the volume is empty space. There's no attractive forces of molecules. There's constant rapid motion of molecules. There's perfectly elastic collisions of molecules. Follow up that no kinetic energy gets lost. And then average kinetic energy is proportional to Kelvin temperature. I'll throw this out there too. Number 1 for the test has a hidden Easter egg extra credit point. So if you want to look through your notes and find that, I'm not going to tell you that now. I told you that then. You could watch the videos or find them. But I'll tell you 1 to 9 has a secret extra credit point. So maybe everybody make a note to your friends. Number 1 to 9, secret extra credit, 1 point available there. 20 is ideal. 21 is real. 22 is low temperature. It's also high pressure. 24 is force per unit area. If they don't mention area, there's no score there. Force per unit area. If you say force per area, I'll take it. But force per unit area is a better answer, but I won't take points off for missing the word unit. 25 is collisions of molecules again. 26 is the barometer. And then make a note for your friends, Easter egg, hidden point available there as well. 1 bonus point on test day. 27 to 32, we're doing 6. You could do up to 9 facts on this. There's 8 we've been doing every day, which would be 2 bonus, plus another bonus thing from the notes. But it's 14.7 PSI, 76 cm Hg, 760 mm Hg, 760 again with torque, 1 ATM, 1.013 times 10 to the 5th PA for pascals. Then the bottom two are altitude and moisture. Anybody have anything you want me to judge? Okay, then get your attention span on, because this section's been a mess. So we're okay with the names. Boyles is fine, usually. Charles is fine, usually. Gay-Lussac is fine, usually. And then sometimes things go off the rails. Let me do the equation first, because honestly how I do the words is based off the equations. I'll talk you how I do in a second. Boyle's equation is multiplying. P1 times V1 equals P2 times V2. So when I go to do the words here, since I didn't mention temperature in the equation, I start off saying at constant temperature, and then I mention the two variables that were there. Volume is inversely proportional to pressure. Or you could say pressure inversely proportional to volume. It doesn't matter what order you say the words, but you have to have constant temperature and you need the word inversely for the other two things. Charles is fractions. V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. Or you can do it as V1 over V2 equals T1 over T2. That one's flexible with that setup. And then when I do the words, since there was no P in the equation, I'll say constant pressure. And then the word for the other two is directly. Volume's directly proportional to temperature. You should say Kelvin temperature. If you don't, I'm not going to take points off for that this time, but I might on the test. It should be Kelvin temperature for these temperatures here. Gay-Lussac, P1 over T1 equals P2 over T2. You could also do P1 over P2 equals T1 over T2. But then for the words, since volume's not in that, I'd say at constant volume, the pressure's directly proportional to Kelvin temperature. If people swapped two of the names, take -2, not -4. Like if the two names are with 4 other wrong facts, mark the names wrong, not the 4. That's a kinder way to grade that. Question on that zone that's been kind of a mess.
What was the Charles equation again?
Charles equation is, it's fractions for sure. I do V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2.
Okay.
But if you do V1 over V2 equals T1 over T2, that's also okay. More to 43? 44 is 0. There's, I have 3 bonus points in this area around 44, 45, 46. I'm not exactly sure who's with who. I just have them squeezed in there. 45 is to add 273. If they wrote this, that is the right thing. If they wrote this, that is the wrong thing. That's not true. This is true. If you just put the words add 273, that's a simpler way to do that. 46, P1 V1 over T1 equals P2 V2 over T2. 47, we're looking for Dalton, we're looking for partial pressures. So if you just have Dalton, I'll do half. If you just have partial pressures, I do half. If you're missing a word out of partial pressures, you're out at least a half. But Dalton's law is of partial pressures. Then sum, SUM. 49, your body makes more red blood cells. 50, you have to subtract the water vapor pressure. 51's ideal gas. 52 is PV equals nRT. And 53, the number is 0.0821. I don't care about the units. I'll just take the 0.0821. Question about scoring, any of that? Anything?